All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The American President Donald Trump has warned that the Houthi rebels in Yemen will be completely annihilated as Americans and the rebels continue to target each other. Now, the American air bombings continue to pound several parts of Yemen, including the capital city of Sanaa and the rebel stronghold of Saada in the country's northwest. Now, the Houthi media said that these American bombings have also hit the district of Al-Sawadia, southeast of Sanaa. Now, Washington began the new military offensive on Saturday. The Houthi-run health ministry has said that the American bombings have killed at least about 53 people and have wounded at least about 100 others, sparking widespread protests in Yemen. Now, the United States has said that these attacks have killed several top Houthi officials. Now, Washington has pledged overwhelming force until the Houthis stop firing on key shipping routes. Meanwhile, the American President Donald Trump, in a post on social media, has said that tremendous damage has been inflicted upon the Houthis and has warned that the Iran-backed rebels will be completely annihilated. He's also warned Tehran against continuing aid for the group, saying that Iran must stop the sending of these supply materials and should let the Houthis fight it out themselves. Now, Donald Trump had previously said that he would hold Iran responsible for any attacks carried out by the Houthis against the United States and Israel. The Houthis on Wednesday is said to have carried out an attack on the American warships in the Red Sea, the fourth strike that they've taken credit for in just the last 3 days. However, the American officials have shrugged off the Houthi claims as nothing but lies and disinformation, with one top military commander saying that the Houthis were in fact missing their targets by as much as 160 kilometers. Now, the Houthis have targeted about 100 shipping vessels since late 2023, claiming that they're doing this only in solidarity with the Palestinians who've been under the pump for the last 16 months by the Israelis. All right, now to give us more insights in terms of what is happening at this moment, we're joined from Tehran by Dr. Hamid Raza Ghulamzadeh. He is the Deputy for International Affairs at Tehran Municipality and Secretary General of the Asian Mayors Forum. Mr. Ghulamzadeh, thank you very much indeed, sir, for speaking to us here in WION. Now, you know, in terms of what is happening at this moment in the Red Sea, the Houthis have been targeted previously by the previous US administrations as well, but they've managed to survive. But the question, of course, is this time round going to be different, because Donald Trump says that he wants to wipe out the Houthis?
Thank you very much for having me. Looking at the history of the Yemeni people and the Yemeni society can be very actually helpful in understanding what is going on. People in Yemen are very well in fighting against anyone who wants to intrude them and wants to oppress anything to them. It has been throughout the history, and even in the past decade, you can see a lot of such examples. Saudi Arabia and UAE, they try to attack Yemen and to actually collapse the Houthis' rule over the country. But they failed after more than 8 years. And it was actually the richest countries in the region fighting against the poorest country in the region. At that time, Yemeni government was not as powerful as now. They proved that the fight on the battleground is not just about the number of vessels and number of the aircrafts and the number of the fighter jets that you have. It is other factors that are important in the battleground. So this time also, the attacks that the Americans are carrying out against Yemenis is not going to change much anything, and it can be just like the other rounds that they had. They made some claims, they attacked, and that was all.
All right, now, you know, President Donald Trump has repeatedly pointed fingers at Iran. A lot of military experts are saying that this campaign of bombings that the Americans are carrying out over Yemen is in fact a lead-up to a potential conflict that the Americans want to have with the Iranians. In your assessment, do you think there could be a direct confrontation between the United States and Iran because of what is happening at this moment in the Middle East?
The fact that the President Trump, after a couple of days from beginning the military campaign against Yemen, pointed the finger at Iran was that they realized that they cannot defeat Houthis in Yemen, so they try to threaten Iran in order to maybe Iran can discourage the Yemenis from fighting against the United States. But it's not going to be helpful to them. And there is not going to be any war. Iran is not buying such threats because Iran knows that if there is any attack from the American side on Iran, then it would be received actually a very harsh and strong response from Iran. And Iran is not going to have any other choice. This time Iran is not going to be patient like the last time that the Zionist regime attacked Iran. Then Iran has no other choice but to attack Americans and attack American facilities and interests in the region very harshly, and that would lead to two options. Either the Americans should accept the defeat, which is not possible for them, or they need to get into a war, which would be a full-fledged war, an all-out war that can keep Americans here in the region, and what would be much worse than Afghanistan and Iraq wars that they had 20 years ago. So it would be dragging Americans into the region, and it is against the main principal foreign policy of the Americans, who have been trying to leave this region to contain China in East Asia. So it was since President Obama that they made claim about pivot to Asia, and they wanted to leave this region. So if there is a war, it would be actually destruction of the whole American foreign policy that they have been working for many years now.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Ghulam Zadeh, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you very much.